right, let's open up with a prayer. All brothers remove their head coverings. All sisters pray with their heads covered. And we face the east towards Jerusalem, where our temple was and where our temple in Savior word of Yahshua HaMashiach shall return. Covenant Father, we come before you on your Sabbathon, your last day, the last great day, day 8 of your Chag Sukkah, your Feast of Tabernacles, Yah. And just awe and reverence and thankfulness and just appreciation, Yah, that you have brought us through another holy season. You have increased our understanding. You have increased our knowledge. You've increased our endurance and our strength, Yah. We've went through a lot this year, Yah. But you have brought us through these things, not where we were before, but in a better place with a better understanding, Yah, and more obedience. And we thank you, Yah, for allowing us to be part of these holy days, to have an opportunity to be your set apart, your chosen, Yah. So we ask, Yah, that this mercy that you extended to us, that you always make sure that we remember this, that we don't forget how merciful you are to us, so that we can deal with our brothers and sisters with at least the same type of mercy you have given us, Yah, at minimum, Yah. So we thank you, Yah, once again, and we honor this last day to do according as your commandments, to be obedient, and we enjoy this day, this last great day, which is symbolic of that all righteousness being fulfilled, Yah. We look forward to that. Yah, these things we thank and pray, and we make no demands, and we say these things not only for us and our assembly, but all your children across the four corners of the earth, all the scattered ones, all those that cleave on, Yah, we pray for them as well. Through your holy, humble, anointed Son, Yahshua HaMashiach. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right. Shalom, or Sabbathon Shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharal. I'm with my brother Wesley Yasharal. Shabbat Shalom, family. And we are in our Chag Sukkah, day 8, which is the Feast of Tabernacles, the 8th day, which is the last great day. And it's a feast. It's a party. This is something new. It's 7 is the number of completion, and when you go into the 8th day, man, or the last great day, the 8th day, that's something new. That's a new creation. So this holy day is symbolic of that new creation, is a memorial of that new creation, which is what we're waiting on, where all righteousness is fulfilled and all wickedness is put to death. The final enemy, death and the lake of fire and all that are put away. And then we have final peace. The first time in the world we'll have peace in a new heaven and a new earth. And this is what this is symbolic of, that we go through the whole year, holy year, and all the holy days. And it culminates everything. Everything that we went through with Yahshua fulfilling these things in the flesh. And these things going on and passing on all the way into this last set of holy days, Tabernacles, which is the tent. Sukkah is the tent, and we dwell in tents. Israel was made to dwell in tents before they entered into the land. We were in the and this is the same thing that's going to happen to us. We're going to have to dwell in Sukkah or Sukkot when it's before we can enter into our land and finally take the final possession of our land. So it's symbolic of all those things. So what we're going to do, we went over Sukkah and the last great day and the laws pertaining to that. And we're going to go into Leviticus 23, and we're just going to go through the whole year. We're going to review the whole holy days, years, so that we'll understand, what we experienced, whether you kept them all with us or you're keeping them. We're going to review that because after this holy days, and there's no more of Yah's Moadim. All his Moade or Moadim are all completed. Anything else from that point is man, which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just not Yah's Moadim. It's not his. These are Yah's Moadim that he set apart. If somebody sets something apart and says, here, I'm going to put these over here, you can't take your stuff and put it over. He's like, no, I'm separating this. So he did with his Sabbath day. He separated and said, look, this is over here. Everything else is over there. His set apart days is appointed times. He did the same thing. He set them aside. These are over here. You can't add to those. So we're going to open up in Leviticus, Wayakra, chapter 23. We're going to go over the holy days. And if we have any questions or comments, or if anybody is, see something different, by all means, in the scripts, and we'll try to see what we can get. So Wayakra, Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to start this at verse 1.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Okay, so when it says there, it's talking about these are my appointed times. These are my Moadim. That's what it's talking about. If you look at the Hebrew, that's what it's saying. These are my appointed times, which you shall proclaim holy convocation. These are my appointed days. Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahweh in all your dwellings.
All right, so the first appointed time that he brings up is the Shabbat, the seventh day. That is the practice. Everything that we're doing right now is practice. We're not in the game. We're interviewing. We're trying to get a position. We're trying to get on the team. The final roster, Yasharal, with the one that says all Yasharal shall be saved. That's what we make that team. Once we make that team, we in the game. All we got to do is perform. So, but before you can do that, a coach is not just going to grab somebody and say, hey, you, come here, get in the game. That's movies. That happens in the movies. That don't happen in real life. Because you go out there and get yourself hurt or hurt other people around you that are depending on you to know what you're supposed to be doing. So that's what we're doing. Now, if you're a coach and your team, or you're an owner and you're looking at your team and you're seeing your players lollygagging, halfway doing it, halfway throwing the pass, not throwing it the other way and it's supposed to go this way, you're going to get upset. You're going to say, this is how you're going to play because this is how you're practicing. Well, it's the same thing with these holy days and these laws and understanding. That only comes by practicing these things. Now, when you're in practice and somebody fumbles the ball, you let them know how severe that is. It's severe. If you fumble the ball in the game, this is going to cause us problems. But you don't kill the person or cut them from the team. It's practice. You're practicing. So it's the same principle in this word. Because somebody trips in the word and during this grace period, which is like a practice, a scrimmage, when that happens, then you try to help the person, correct the person. This is what you got to do. See, you didn't follow through. You got scared you're going to get hit, and that's why you threw that interception. Or you didn't tuck the ball away. That's why you fumbled. You work on those things, but we get in the word and we want to say, lake of fire for you because you jumped off sides. Furthermore, when you get in the game, you might make those same mistakes. You don't want to get cut. So this is what this is about. This is about practice. And Yah every week said, I'm going to give you a day to practice being Kodesh, holy, set apart. Every week, practice this from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So when these holy days come around, it's nothing to you. It's normal. Now you got the 7 days, you got your new month, the seventh day, the new month, and you got the 7 holy days, and you practice those and you get used to coming together when Yah says come together. You get used to sanctifying yourself when Yah says sanctify yourself, so that when the game is on that last great day, you're not killed off. You didn't get cut from the team. And you don't have to worry because this is what you've been practicing when you had to fight against the adversary. Go ahead.
These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons.
All right, so if you look at holy convocation, that's Kodesh Mikra. When you look at Mikra, that means to gather. That means something called out. That means to rehearse. That means to read. Public speaking. All of that is in Mikra. You're not going to get that from convocation. But when you look at the Hebrew word Mikra, all those come together. So that lets you know you need to gather on those days. And what does Yahshua say? 2 or 3 or more gathered in his name. Where is he at?
There he is in the midst.
In the midst, inside. He's in us. There he is in us. The mist, us. Go ahead.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Pesach.
All right. So in the 14th day of the first month, in between evenings, is Yahweh's Passover. So that means when you have the 14th day, that's beginning to start the 14th day, that begins your Passover. And when you do your Passover rites, when you do the actual physical Passover, when we were doing that in our land, because that's the only place we could keep Pesach, we would do that in the eve towards the end of the day, getting ready to go into the 15th day before the sun went down. That's when we would kill the Passover lamb. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread.
All right, so now towards the end of the 14th day, when the sun starts going down, which is evening, because you have even and then it's moving away from evening, from even is evening, you kill the Passover. Now, as soon as the sun goes down, ending the 14th day, beginning the 15th day, that is the feast of unleavened bread. And it says 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. So 14th day, so there should be no confusion here. The first holy day is on the 14th day, Pesach. The second holy day is for 7 days, and it's on the 15th day. Not any portion of the 14th day, only on the 15th day. Passover is not on any portion of the 15th day. It's only on the 14th day. So those clearly separate days. So you have the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21. So that's 7 days. So the 15th of Abib through the 21st of Abib is your unleavened bread, your matzah. Go ahead.
In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
All right, so that's the Sabbathon. No servile work. A Sabbathon means it is like a vacation day. It's like what they call it nowadays holidays, where that day everything is closed. You celebrate, go be with your family, have a holy convocation, Mikra, Kodesh Mikra, on those days. On the first day, go ahead.
But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days, and the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
All right, so if the first day of unleavened bread is a holy convocation, and the 7th day is a holy convocation, what is the numbered day of Abib of the first holy convocation? In unleavened bread. What numbered day is it? Right, absolutely. The 15th. And what is the last Sabbathon of that Abib for unleavened bread? So if the 15th is day 1, what's the last?
21st.
Absolutely, the 21st. So it's just literally that simple. You find out when does Abib day 1 start. So now that's where the confusion comes in, because people are using different calendars. Some people are using a full moon for a new moon. Other people are using a dark moon for a new moon. And then other people are using the sliver moon for a new moon. So that's 3 different lunar understandings. And of course, if you watched our videos, we've shown you that doesn't add up. I don't care where you start your moon. You can start it in 3/4 moon, you still only going to get 354 days in 12 moons. Or you want to be smart and throw in 13, you're going to get 380 something days. Now, if you believe your year is 354 days, can't argue with you. If you believe your year is 384 days, I can't argue with you. But I can't argue with you that you're not going to hit all your seasons properly. So when you start your new month, new moon is a doctrine. When you start your new month, that's day 1. You go to the 14th day. There's your Pesach. You go to the 15th day. There's your unleavened bread day 1, with that one going on to day 7, that gives you 21st. That is the last day of your unleavened bread. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, When you be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh, to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Shabbat, the priest shall wave it.
All right, so it says the morrow after the Shabbat. Now, the Shabbat that they're talking about is after they just went through the whole season of unleavened bread, then comes a weekly Sabbath. It says Sabbath. It don't say Sabbathon, so it can't be including any one of those Sabbathons or the first day of unleavened bread or the 7th day of unleavened bread, because those will never fall on Sabbath days. They're Sabbathons, which mean they're treated like Sabbaths, but they're not on the Sabbath day because the Sabbath is completely separate. Just like we opened up the class. You don't separate something and then say, oh yeah, put that in there. You don't have the sheep and goats right here when Yahshua said, I'm going to separate the sheep from the goats. And then say, oh, well, let me grab that one goat. That's not separation. Don't make no sense. So his Sabbath is separate. So here you have your week of unleavened bread, the 21st. And after the 21st of Abib, your weekly Shabbat that follows the 21st of Abib. That is the Sabbath they're talking about. The morrow after that would be what? What day would it be?
The first day.
Right? The first day, which is what day?
Sunday.
A Sunday. Absolutely. So you know first fruit's going to always be on a Sunday because it's an 8-day feast. You have 7 days. Then it's the day after. It's 8th day. This is something new. This is a new harvest. Here, something new. And it belongs to you. The beginning of something new belongs to you. Anything that opens the matrix belongs to you, whether it's animal or man or whatever. Yah allowed the Levites to take that place for the children of Israel. Well, we don't have to. Firstborn don't belong to Yah like that. Now the Levites took that place, and now they're like the firstborn to Yah because they were doing the sacrifices and everything for Yah. First fruits, the first of your harvest, that belongs to Yah. It goes to Yah. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And you shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf a he-lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto Yahweh. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto Yahweh for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears unto the selfsame day that you have brought an offering unto your Elohim. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
All right, so verse 14, what's that Hebrew word for bread? Should be Lahaim. So Lahaim. Lahem, right. So that's bread. So what? Read the definition.
Food for man or beast, especially bread or grain, eat food, loaf meat, victuals.
Okay, so that's leavened bread. That's not unleavened bread because unleavened bread is what? What's the word for unleavened bread? Remember? Matzah. That's why it's called matzah. Hag matzah. So this is talking about leavened bread. You can't eat leavened bread until after you've given your first fruit offering. So this means first fruits is impossible for it to fall during your feast of unleavened bread. Because then that would imply as soon as you make your offering during the week of unleavened bread, you can now eat leavened bread. But then the law says, no, 7 days you can't touch unleavened bread. So why would you need to mention you can eat bread after you make this offering if there was more days of unleavened bread? That don't add up. But that's what Jewish people do. They do that around the 16th of Abib, which doesn't make any sense. It completely contradicts what's in here. Yah's not an author of confusion. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Shabbat, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Shabbat complete.
All right, so remember, you have the 7 days of unleavened bread all the way through the 21st of Abib. Then you have your weekly Shabbat, comes right after the end of unleavened bread. After your weekly Shabbat, the next day, which is the first day of the week, that is your feast of first fruits. From there, you are now counting 7 Sabbaths, 7 Sabbath days from there, which will give you 49 days. Then 49 days, the morrow after that, is going to give you what day again? Right, first day. Again, it's another 8-day feast. Why? Because it's another new harvest. You're in a new season. You're now going into the summer. First one is starting spring, spring harvest. Here you go. The next one is summer. Summer is starting. So now you're doing another first fruit offering. But this is not the Feast of First Fruits. The Feast of First Fruits is a feast dedicated to Bikurim only. First fruits only. Pentecost is a first fruits feast day, but it's Pentecost. It's 50 days. It's different. Shabbat. All right. Go ahead.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Shabbat shall you number 50 days, and you shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh.
Penta is 50. That's where you get 50 days. 7 times 7 is 49. The day after that, day after Shabbat, always going to be a first day of the week, Sunday. 50 days. Go ahead.
You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh.
All right, so when we go over these things, you're not going to just remember all these things right away, and that's not the goal. So if you feel like you can't remember all this now, that's fine. What we're doing is repetitively going over how to calculate these things and where to go to find these things. And over years, it'll stick with you. Now you know it. Now all you need to know is when the calendar starts, and you can map out your own holy days and make sure you're on point. Or if you find out you started it wrong, you can go back and make adjustments, because you can look here and you know where to go, where to read, and you know how to understand how to calculate these things. A lot of assemblies won't teach this because they want you to depend on them. Well, you have to go to them for a calendar. You have to go to this great person that just knows everything, and then they just write. And now somebody telling you holy days off, nah, you're wrong. My pastor, he knows. Well, do you know how you know? Now, if you don't know, the best thing you can do is find out when it starts. Whoever you trust, to the best of your understanding, that has a good understanding of the calendar, find out Abib day 1. Then calculate it from there yourself and see if it matches them. And if it doesn't match them, ask a question. Hey, why does it not match? Shabbat Shalom, Elazar. Good to see you, brother. Safe travels, man. Definitely, brother. And Shabbat Shalom, brother Yafi. Yehuda, good to see you, family. All right, go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals.
All right, let's skip that. We're not doing any of those animal sacrifices. All these things and all these so-called meat offerings and all that, we don't do those anymore, because we're not in our land. We don't have a Levite to do that. Everything is just memorializing. It's practice. We're not even properly able to do that. It had to be Levites, and it had to be people of certain families in the Levites, which was passed down from generation to generation to generation. But we memorialize all these days, because let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. So jump down to verse 21.
And you shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be a holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
So it's a statute forever in all your dwellings. He told us we was going to be scattered into every corner of the earth. He knew we were going to be scattered to every corner of the earth. Why would he make a law that says you have to do this forever in all your dwellings, throughout all your generations, if it was just going to be when you in your land? That don't make any sense. He's not going to give you something you can't do. These are things that we have to do. We have to memorialize these, remember these. These are set appointed times. Now, if there's a fire extinguisher on the wall, there's an appointed time to use it if there's a fire. But you got it there. Go ahead.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not make clean riddance of the corners of your field when you reap. Neither shall you gather any gleaning of your harvest. You shall leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
Now you see, this is part of keeping his holy days. All of this. Not reaping the harvest of your land, not making clean riddance. In other words, your paycheck, not spending it all on yourself. Always leaving a corner of your paycheck so that if a poor person needs it, your brother needs it, your mother needs it, somebody needs it, you got something. And you're giving it away freely, understanding that Yah is going to provide. He's going to make sure you straight. If you can't do that, you ain't keeping holy days. You ain't keeping none of the holy days if you didn't do that. If you ain't keeping Shabbat, you ain't keeping none of the holy days. Because Yah's are all or nothing. You got to give him all, not your least. He's not going to accept your least. That's the offering. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation.
All right, so you see that again, another holy convocation, the Sabbathon. None of these holies fall, none of these Moadim or Moedim fall on the Sabbath day of the week. Never. But certain ones here, he's saying these are holy convocations. You shall do no servile work. When you go look in the Hebrew, where it says Sabbath, it's often referring to Sabbathon, a completely different word. So this is the first day of the 7th month. So you find out when is Abib day 1. All right. Once you learn how to calculate the months, you go to the 7th month. The day, that night that the 7th month starts, there's your Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah. Go ahead.
You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
All right. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
All right. So it's a day of atonement, not days of atonement. It's only one day on the 10th of the 7th month. So is the 11th of the 7th month, is that day of atonement? 11th day of the 7th month, is that day of atonement?
The 10th day.
The 10th day, period. The 10th day is the day of atonement. All right. Now, the 9th at even, when you start, the sun is starting to go down, that's when you begin your fast. When the day's switching over and it's starting. So it's letting you know it's a full day fast. From the nighttime all the way through the night, and not just you wake up in the morning, because we normally do that. We go to sleep and we wake up, and what do we eat when we wake up?
Breakfast.
Break fast, exactly. Breakfast.
Wow.
So you already fasting, so that's nothing new. I don't know. I mean, you just a food addict if you get up in the middle of the night to go eat. Like I just go down and get some chicken. Like we don't do that. We already fasted. Then it said when you wake up, when you break your fast, no, you're not. You're going to continue that fast all the way into the end of the 10th day. Go ahead.
Do no work therein, no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that does any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even, From even unto even shall you celebrate your Shabbat.
All right, so from even to even is letting you know it's from night to night. Now, if you're starting your days in the daytime portion, then that would mean the daytime portion of the 10th day. When that night comes, and that night would start the 10th day for us, but instead it doesn't. It's ending the 10th day for you. When the daytime comes of our 10th day, which will be ending yours, you be into the 10th and 11th day. Part of your Day of Atonement is going to be on the 10th day. Part of it is going to be on the 11th day. Because it starts from even to even. And even is the end of your day. That doesn't make any sense. The even is the beginning of your day. That's the only way that you can fast an entire day and still be only in the 10th day. If you, again, because I know a lot of people are hearing that the calendar day starts in the morning or something like that. It don't add up with Leviticus 23. Once again, if the morning starts your 10th day, morning starts your 10th day, but you can't fast until the evening, and it's even to even, that means the morning starts, that starts your 10th, the even is the end of your 10th, but you still got to fast again that morning after that. Then that'd be the 10th and 11th. It don't add up. Don't add up. You'd be starting the 11th. Go ahead.
Verse 33. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, saying, The 15th day on this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto Yahweh.
All right, so now you have the 15th day of the 7th month. So that means you had your trumpets, first day of the 7th month, which is a Rosh Hashanah, head of the month. Now, I don't know how they got New Year on that, or they got Day of Atonement on the first day of the 7th month. They're reading a different book, obviously. But here, first day of the 7th month, Yom Teruah, period, trumpets. 10th day of the 7th month, Yom Kippur, or Kafarim, which is Day of Atonement, 10th day. Now we're at the 15th day of the 7th month, Feast of Tabernacles, day 1. Go ahead.
On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein.
All right, so all these things are shadows of things to come. That's what the commandment is, the shadow of things to come. So these commandments to do these sacrificial law or ceremonial law is a shadow of things to come, a shadow of what we are fulfilling. So when it's talking about making an offer by fire, we know we get baptized by water, and we also receive a baptism by what else?
Fire.
By fire. That's a burnt offering. You are receiving the fire with this word, which is burning the impurities off of you, making you a perfect offering. Your head, that is your temple. That's where Yah speaks to you. That's where his word dwells, in your head. That is your temple, right? That's your burnt offering. Your mind, in your mind. You make that burnt offering with the Father by allowing yourself to be renewed in the mind. Now the Father's word is in you, and a fire, light is in you. That's your offering. Now you got your 12 ribs, which is like the foundation. You got all that stuff that adds up. Then you have your legs and your arms, which is the columns, and your arms. You raise them up to the Father, and you make your offering unto him, your wave offering, your heave offering, and you offer yourself unto the Father. And your body, which is the body also, which is also symbolic of the assembly, that is your tabernacle. That's your house. With your head being the temple, and your oracle, your heart, the oracle. The holiest of holies. Go ahead.
Verse 37. These are the feasts of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering, and a meat offering, a sacrifice, and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Besides the Shabbats of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your free will offerings, which you give unto Yahweh.
All right, so notice it's talking about these other offerings. Your burnt offering, your meat offering, which is a meal, which is like grain offering, your sacrifice and drink offerings, and your free will offerings, all these things. Now, a wave offering, a sheaf, that's a sheaf, that's a specific amount. That is a measurement. It's not what you want to give. It's a certain amount for everybody. Everybody got to give that same amount. So that's different than Deuteronomy 16 and 16 through 17, where it says 3 times a year all males must appear, and you must not appear empty-handed. Every man must give according to what he is able. That's different. A free will offering is different than an offering of a sheaf offering, a wave offering. That's a specific amount versus, you know what, I was blessed so much, I can give you 10 sheeps. Because y'all took care of me and I'm taking care of the poor people. So here you go, y'all. That's completely different. And people confuse those offerings, the 3 offerings that all males must appear, which we did the first day of Tabernacles. They confuse that with the same offering that we give with first fruits, which is a sheaf. People confuse those things. Go ahead.
Also, in the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Shabbat.
All right, so 7-day feast. That's how long it is. Why is he saying 7 days? 7 is the number of completion. Absolutely. So it's completed. First day is going to be a Sabbathon, and then now he's going to introduce something different, which we haven't seen through this entire holy year. We haven't seen this year. Go ahead.
On the first day shall be a Shabbat, and on the 8th day shall be a Shabbat.
So that's something new. That's what we're in now. That's something completely different. Because you have 7 days. And does not unleavened bread start on the 15th day? It starts on the 15th day through the 21st day. So that's how things, that's normal. 7-day feast. A whole week. Cool. But now it ends just like it started, and something new was in the equation. Now you have an 8th-day feast. Something new. So we're celebrating something new. You have completed your holy days. Seven days. You've completed your 7 holy days. You've reached all 7 holy days. Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, trumpets, atonement, tabernacles. You've completed your 7 holy days. Now, here's the celebration for the new creation that has come when you have been completed. And you have now, because you have been obedient to the Father, you are now brought into the house, brought into the body of Yah. And here's the celebration of as a new creature, one with the Most High. 8th day. When do we circumcise the child? On the 8th day. Because that first week, that's a different creation. That was the beast created. But on the 8th day, there's a new creation. He's in covenant with the Father. And being in covenant means we're going to keep this promise, this law. That's what a covenant is. We're making a promise between one another. And it's law. And it's between 2 people and the Most High. That's covenant. You've kept that covenant. Now you've become a new creature. Just like man and woman keeps covenant, they become one flesh. A new creation. Go ahead.
And you shall take you on the first day of the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim 7 days. And you shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
All right. Now, I know there's a popular doctrine that people teach that Yahshua was born on Feast of Tabernacles. And I can understand why somebody would say that. But if you go to Luke chapter 1 and you see in the 6th month, when the Holy Spirit allowed Miriam to receive the seed of David to become Yahshua, that's the 6th month. You count 9 months for that. I don't bring you to October. I don't bring you nowhere near to October or December or any of that stuff. So that don't add up. That unless you just discredit the New Testament, that it don't add up. Then furthermore, what do we do on Tabernacles? Read verse 42.
You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
So Israelite born, where were we born?
America.
We born in America. We born in Babylon. So this is Israelite born. But anyways, dwell in booths 7 days, right? So if we're dwelling in booths 7 days, and people are coming from out of town to dwell in booths 7 days, this would cause why would all the inns be filled? If people coming not to dwell in an inn, they coming to dwell in tents. So to me, that doesn't make sense. Furthermore, you getting all the way into October, it's starting to get cold, chilly outside. You can't even take a baby outside in 70-degree weather. That's still too cold for a baby. He has no immune system. He doesn't have enough colostrum in his body, which is from the breast milk, which gives the immune system to the baby. They don't add up. Don't make sense. Everybody dwelling in booths, but all the inns are filled. Don't add up. Baby born out, living outside in a barn, basically, in the beginning of fall, it don't add up. It don't add up, but it adds up for a good story. Go ahead.
You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Yasharal to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. I
made them dwell in tents. I let them know you need to get up and move when I tell you to move. You stay here. You don't have a house. You be obedient unto me, and you learn how to approach me and how to be one with me before I bring you in my house. Go ahead.
Moshe declared unto the children of Yasharal the feast of Yahweh.
Okay, so these are the feasts of Yahweh. You got feasts of you or feasts of somebody else. That's not the feast of Yah. You can't rebuke somebody for not keeping your feast. You are now making yourself into a god if you're trying to say, you have to keep this feast. If it's not in Yah's appointed, commanded days, you can't force somebody. Hanukkah ain't in here. I don't see feast of dedication in here. That's not in here. Now, if you want to keep Hanukkah, that's our culture. That's cool. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I can't rebuke you for keeping it. But you can't rebuke me if I decide, I feel like I want to set these things. I don't really celebrate birthdays. I don't celebrate this. I just want to focus on these things right here. But I ain't going to knock you if you want to do it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Or if you say, you know what, I used to keep birthdays. I go to graduation parties. I go to, got promotion party. I celebrate. I like to party. Cool. Why would I not party for y'all? I would say go right ahead. Praise y'all. But we're not supposed to be judging each other on that. Or rebuking if you haven't kept the law. If y'all wanted us and commanded us to do something, to tell us in this book. Because we're a sottish people. We'll find a loophole out of everything. So he made sure he said it 3, 4, 5. We can go Numbers and read these same holy days in Leviticus 23. We can go to Deuteronomy. We can go different places and read the same holy days. So these are the Moadim or Moadim. These are the set apart days that Yah had. And the main thing that you need to do is find out, how does a month start? Can it start with a moon? Yeah, it's possible. Is it going to be according to a specific moon, a new moon every month? Absolutely not. It's impossible. Furthermore, was not the moon created on the 4th day? Don't add up. It don't add up. So how can, a moon start your month every month? Can't. So find out when a month starts and how to calculate months. Enoch gives you that understanding of how to calculate your months and how to use the sun, moon, and the stars. All three witnesses to give you that. Yah always gives you at least 2 witnesses. 2 or 3 or more gathered in my name. Does not everything worship Yah? Everything is for Yah. Even the sun, moon, and stars is worshiping him. You worship as you obey. Whoever you obey, that's whose son you are. That's who you worship. If you worship yourself, you only do what you want to do, then you worship yourself. You made yourself into a god. But Yah says, we do this, so those that belong to Yah, we do what he say. Another kid that don't know your dad say, hey, sit your behind down. He may have the fear of Yah in him. You're like, yo, that man speaks with some authority, and I know I ain't doing nothing right. He might sit down. A little badass kid say, you ain't my daddy, he'll run off, right? But guess what? That's what these people gonna say when you tell them, honor the Shabbat. Sanctify the Sabbath day, hallow the Sabbath day. Man, who you? You ain't my daddy. My God would my Shabbat is on Sunday. Yeah, your Shabbat. That's your Shabbat. We keep Yah's Shabbat. We keep Yah's holy days. Just like the Mexicans got their holy day. They got Cinco de Mayo. That's days. That's their holy day. They don't bar us from keeping it, but that's their holy day. Well, this is ours. These are our holy days, and this is what separates us from the rest of the world. Just this one chapter right here, Leviticus 23. And keep in mind, we're just going over the outline of when these days are. We have to conduct ourselves a certain way. Because if you came in phony to the first one, you're already unclean for the second one. You came in phony for the first and second one, he's not accepting you. He's not accepting anything. So you're wasting time. If you're only going to keep yourself holy on the holy days, you wasted your time. Because he says, I'm holy, you be holy. So that means you're in a constant state of dying daily. Which means every time you mess up, you're constantly shedding that death off you, which is sin. That bad, that transgression, and trying to remain tamim, which is spotless. That doesn't mean never been spotted before. That just means I seen something, I cleaned it off. And then I made sure I made proper precautions to try to stay clean as I possibly can. So that's all we're going to do today. Any questions before we close out? Joaquin, anything stand out? All right. So we are going to have our feast and enjoy. And we're going to hang out in the tabernacle. I know it say 7 days we dwell in the booth, but we're going to keep it up. We're going to chill out there in the 8th day as well and have some fun. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody that, has been keeping these holy days with us. A lot of people, it can become an inconvenience to have to stream all these things all the time. But we know that there are people that are located in remote places that this is the closest they have. So for that reason, we do that because we know that if you were here, you would try to be here, but you can't. So the best thing you can do is try to gather in spirit with people and not make anybody feel secluded, because that's how you feel in this world. When you go out in the world and everybody doing what they want to do and you walk in this direction, everybody going the other direction, you feel secluded. So we need that strength. This is why he said, never forsake the assembling of the saints. We need that to strengthen one another. So let's go ahead and close in a prayer. All brothers remove their head coverings. And all sisters pray with their heads covered. And Brother West, can you close us out in prayer, please?
Our Father, covenant all in Abraham, Yishak, and Yaakov. We thank you, Father, for allowing us to gather. We thank you for allowing us to practice your holy days, Father. We thank you, Father, for your mercy. We ask, Father, that you give us a heart, Father, to stay on the right path and to not forsake your mercy, and to not forsake your Son, Father, and his sacrifices, Father. We ask, Father, that you give us a heart to stay on your paths and to seek you continually, Father. We ask that you help us to walk in this world but not be of this world, Father. Thank you, Father, for revealing all that you have to us, Father, and we ask that you give us a heart to guard the things that you've revealed to us, Father, and to keep them on our hearts, Father. In Yahshua HaMashiach's holy mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.